Wow. I mean, seriously, who'd have thought England would have been the great entertainers in the first game of the World Cup? What a game that was to watch. That was end-to-end, great chances created, fantastic saves, great tackles, some brilliant moments from England in attack, some dodgy, horrible, scary moments in defence. It literally was the scariest moment that we were all thinking about there in defence with the defenders that we've got and the players we've got available, and the scariest moment for everybody else in this World Cup about how good England's attack actually is. When you're still looking at that bench after the substitutions that we made and the talent that is there, England have got a serious chance. If you count the attack and the midfield, we can win the World Cup. But then you go into the back line and you go, oh, maybe it's one step too far. It's one of them games that we just watched there that convinces you and then convinces you otherwise in one 90-minute match. It was just a brilliant game to watch. First of all, excitement levels again, like entertainment, brilliant. It's what the World Cup's been waiting for. A bit of a ding-dong, a basketball match, end-to-end, chances created, both keepers really busy. Standout performance from the goalkeeper for Croatia, by the way. England should have had 6 or 7. It's as simple as that. I think we hit about 12 shots on target overall, 20-plus shots. I think it's more than anybody else in the tournament so far. I mean, I've watched Portugal whimper to a 1-1 draw with Congo. Congratulations to them. Good performance from them. But the stars that are in that Portugal side, I've seen Spain, Brazil, are both limp over the line and getting points in their first games, and nothing is won in that first game. Argentina lost their first game in the last World Cup and went on to win it. So we're looking at these games and we're looking for moments. We're looking for encouragement more than anything else from England. I didn't expect that type of game. I expected it to be very tight. An aging, old, not at its best Croatia side with a really, really poor attack in there. Still scoring 2 against England is a concern. But while you've got an attack like that, there's always a chance. Man of the match for England. Again, the standouts, the Mr. Reliable Harry Kane. What a player this guy is. Equaling, of course, Gary Lineker's World Cup record now as well. Absolutely fantastic performance for him. Defensively as well in the latter stages there. Blocking on the line as well from Harry Kane. The 2 goals, the pressure he was under after the first penalty missed. Fantastic header. He literally kept England on level par in that first half on his own. He was the only player in that England side that stood out in that first half for me. And that was the concerning part of this game. The chances that Croatia created out of nothing is concerning for everybody. And there are better teams in this competition than Croatia. They didn't have much. They were a little bit punch shy when it came to attack, and they still had several shots on target. And Pickford was busy. He was busy. He shouldn't have been. That defence is probably the only thing that's going to trip England up, because the midfield was great. I'm not encouraging signs with Declan Rice limping off. That's a bit of a concern. I have to say that. I thought Elliot Anderson was brilliant in midfield. Bellingham stood up in the second half. But it all comes down to one man, because without Harry Kane in that first half, England might not have been in that position to go in and take the game to Croatia in the second half. And thankfully, everyone turned up in the second half. It was a brilliant performance, brilliant attacking performance, and England's big name players stood up. They stood up and were counted. Bellingham and Kane, again, I cannot heap enough praise onto Kane's shoulders for carrying this England side in that first half, and then obviously playing his part in the second as well. And you've just got to look at the big name players that have stood up. You need superstars. To win a World Cup, you need a superstar in your side. Mbappe did his bit, Haaland did his, Messi did his, Ronaldo failed for Portugal. When your big players don't stand up and don't put in performances, then you don't get very far. Harry Kane, 61 goals this season for Bayern Munich, and he did it again. You can just rely on him. The goals that this man's scoring, he's miles ahead of everybody. No one's going to break his England record. He is world class. Harry Kane is world class. And there's nothing more to say about him. Well done, Bellingham, for second half performance. Thought it was poor in the first half. Thought England floundered. Early nerves. Credit to Thomas Tuchel, because whatever he said at half time got England back on track there. And they came out of the blocks in the second half, England. So I have to give credit for Tuchel for that half-time team talk, whatever he did. I'm not going to give him any praise for the defence he took to the World Cup, though, because that's going to scupper every chance that we've got. And every bit of good work done in that front line is going to have to be doubled to cover for what mistakes are going to come at the back, because John Stones is not ready. Him and O'Reilly at the back on that left-hand side, that Man City combination is not going to work against the best teams in this competition. It is just not. They were pulled from pillar to post. O'Reilly's better going forward than he is defending. John Stones looks completely off it, diving in, constantly being taken on that side. Pickford looks a little bit wary at his feet. Again, I don't like Pickford with a ball at his feet. I don't think he's good enough. You're just going to have to go out and outscore teams. That's England's game. There's so much positive there. We can't ignore the negative, but there was a lot of positive for England there in that game. Really, really encouraging to see how they took the game to Croatia. They brought the Premier League factor in there as well. And do you know what? We deserved the win. We did deserve that win there. Full credit to England for coming out in the second half and doing what they did. They can't afford to play the way they did and give the chances away that they did do in that first half. Not against the bigger teams. There are better teams in Croatia in this tournament. The fact that Modric came off showed they are wary. The fact that Kovacic came on for him as well, another player who actually is aging out, but I thought he did bring back some control for Croatia in that second half when he came on. So, again, England forced them changes. England took the game and played our game in the second half, and that's what won it us. Marcus Rashford getting on the score sheet. Great for Manchester United. This is exactly what we needed as United fans. It keeps on pumping up that value for Marcus Rashford. Of course, Anthony Gordon works hard, put the effort in, and Rashford doesn't do that. But the end product from Rashford is always going to be better than Anthony Gordon's. And he's come on the pitch there, Rashford, and took his chance, composure, and finished the game off. No nervous ending for England because Rashford was composed. The fact that Rodgers, Rashford and Saka all came on after that hydration break in the second half, that depth is absolutely ludicrous. It's crazy. In that front line, you've got Eza still sat on the bench, Ivan Toney, Ollie Watkins, all sat on the bench for England. You're talking about squad depth at the back. I'm scared. I'm scared out of my mind, honestly. I don't think it can carry us forward. But I tell you what, the attack is going to take England far. It's that fine margin. When they come up against a really good side, have that attack got more than what that defence is going to offer, because they're going to have to give us double to cover what that defence has got, because it isn't enough experience, it isn't enough leadership, and it does look a bit of a mess. Yes, they can grow into the tournament and get better, but the opposition is not going to get any easier for England. And that's the only issue that I've got with that. And I'm just being realistic about it because I'm really excited. I've never sat there and watched an England game and been so entertained. It was brilliant to watch. It really was. And just to see the amount of quality that England have got in that attack, and you consider the players that are sat at home and how confident we felt in that second half with them substitutes coming on. I just mentioned there, you got Watkins, Toney and Eza still all on the bench, didn't even come on. And then you've got the likes of Foden, you've got the likes of Palmer sat at home not doing anything. I mean, that there tells you exactly where England are at right now. It's just whether we can do that against the bigger teams as well. Let me know what your thoughts are, everybody. England are off to a flyer. Best game of the tournament so far for an entertainment level. In terms of quality, there are better teams, but my God, give me that type of game all day long. That is English football at its finest in that second half. Thoroughly enjoyed that, sorry. And hopefully there's more to come. Get your comments in below. Was it the Harry Kane show? We got my man of the match. Let me know who you thought stood out for England in that game there today. Hit that like button if you're enjoying the football. Now that England are finally playing. And of course, hit the subscribe button here on Adam FC. I'll see you in the next video.